Traditionally, thrillers are set in a location which allows for something to go majorly wrong. After watching a variety of thriller films, all of which were from different eras and had varying success, I noticed that thrillers can be set in almost any location. For example, Heat by Michael Mann in 1995 depicts the story of bank robbers in the US city of Los Angeles. The film is therefore set in large urban areas from the outset and portrays the LA crime scene. Moreover, the director also incorporates the city of Los Angeles as part of the film. In contrast, The Shining by Stanley Kubrick in 1980 is set in a rural, mountainous location. This reiterates how some thriller film challenges the conventions of thriller films in order to further the sense of tension as it cultivates a degree of trepidation. This tension is also translated via the characters, sound and camera work, most of which remain similar throughout all of the thriller films in order to adhere to the typical conventions of a thriller. This unusual setting challenges the conventions of thriller films and, in turn, alters the viewer's perception of the film, as a different location may create a sense of scepticism among the viewers as they are not sure whether the other aspects of the film will continue to challenge conventions of thrillers or adhere to them. David Fincher's 1995 thriller Seven depicts the story of a serial killer who murders people according to the 7 deadly sins. Although the actual location of the film is not specified, it is obvious to the viewer that it is set in a large urban city in the US. This therefore stays within the boundaries of the typical conventions of thriller films, as the city is a large urban area with several large buildings and a large population. There is also an insight into some of the underlying problems in cities such as crime, gang culture and prostitution. These aspects all contribute to confirming to the viewer that the film is set in a large city. Moreover, the lack of definition regarding the city in which the film is set could also be deemed to be implying that this type of underlying unrest and corruption could be existing in almost all US cities. Another film which is set in an unusual location is The Silence of the Lambs, which is set in the US state of Virginia and portrays the story of a kidnapping. This film features sections in both rural and urban areas, which is a prime example of how there is a diverse spectrum of possible locations for this type of film to be set in. The frequent fluctuation between rural and more urban areas optimises the degree of horror made available by both locations, as aspects which are exclusive to both can be incorporated into one. This fusion of the aspectual differences between rural and urban creates a new sense of terror, and can, ultimately, cultivate the idea that one area may be more thrilling and one may feature the more peaceful elements of the film. The diversity of setting and subsequent freedom is appealing when deciding what genre of film to make. The ability to exhibit any particular setting while still remaining within the realms of conventional thriller films allow a certain degree of freedom, which may be absent when creating other genres of film. After exploring and researching several different thrillers, we decided that we like the idea of using rural areas as they provide an aspect of horror and trepidation which perhaps eludes the more urban option. Although urban areas provide the opportunity for more destruction, it would not be practical and may also take the edge off the horror aspect which is present in a vast majority of all thrillers.